For the overview of our tasks, task 1, 2, and 3 are pretty much going to parallel the activities that you performed in practice 1, 2, and 3 respectively. So task 1, you've been given a data set that has sprint speed and long jump distance, and I've given you the scenario that you're interested in seeing if you can predict long jump distance from max sprint speed. So using this data that you've been given in the spreadsheet, you'll run a bivariate regression in SPSS, check the assumptions, interpret the results by creating a model equation from the regression analysis, and you'll also be using the regression equation to perform some calculations given some known variable values. In the answer sheet, we scroll down. Here's a list of questions that are related to some of the tasks that you are performing in task 1. So you note your answers in that section. For task 2, you're going to be running a multiple regression in SPSS using skin fold measurements. So you have seven site skin fold tests, as well as age and the sum of the skin fold sites, and you're going to use those predictor variables to determine or predict body fat percentage. So again, the same steps. I've specified certain types of or methods of the multiple linear regression that you should use, as well as some of the constraints that surround those types of tests. Your interpretation of the tests will kind of be similar to task 1. On the answer sheet, I have one question that's asking you to briefly describe how backward elimination works in terms of the variables that you used from the instructions. For both models that you create in SPSS, you'll then assess the assumptions one by one. You can indicate if you have met an assumption by just adding a highlight inside the box. Decide if the assumption has been met or violated for each given model, and then provide a justification for why you chose the choice that you did. We will also be reporting and interpreting the R-squared value from the sum of skin fold and age model, and then you will compose your regression equations for each model based on the SPSS output. For task 3, we have a cross-validation data set, and you're going to use the two equations that you found in task 1 to predict the body fat percentages using the cross-validation values. You'll then calculate the correlation coefficient for the relationship between the predicted body fat percentage and the actual body fat percentage in the cross-validation data, and then determine which equation is more accurate or has a more accurate prediction of body fat. And then you're going to use that to predict the body fat percentages of 3 people. These data are located in the task 3 spreadsheet. So once you get in there, if you just scroll over to the side, all of their relevant measurements are listed, and you can use these to kind of plug and chug into whichever regression equation came out as more accurate. From here, there's just 2 questions for task 3, so you're just going to list which equation was more accurate and then support your answer with any relevant calculations. And then the last one is just providing the predicted body fat that you calculate for each individual. A reminder that you will be turning in a completed answer sheet, a completed activity 5 data. Not all of the spreadsheets will be filled in, but at least 5 of them should have something in them. And then you will also turn in a completed SPSS output. You will export your output to an Excel format. So I can show you quickly how to do that. So here I have my saved SPSS output for my Activity 5 data. Yours might look something similar. All I've done is collapsed certain sections. But once you're ready to export your output, all you have to do is go to File, Export, and then in the document type, you're going to choose, you might have to scroll up a little bit, but you want Excel 2007 and higher as an XLSX format. This is acceptable by Dropbox. So once you do that, you can then identify where you want to save your data. Usually the browse function will work the best, and then you can choose to save it to your desktop, to your documents, whichever one works the best. And then when you click Save, that will change the pathway where your file is going, and then you can press OK, and then the file should export in the appropriate format. If you have issues with this, please let me know, and I can help you troubleshoot. Additionally, there's extra troubleshooting help on Beachboard in the SPSS troubleshooting section.